You Pick special is live, giving you the option to pick the league of your choice and get 30 days of picks for only $99. 30 days of the NFL for $99, done. Just want NBA and NHL for the next month? You can do that for only $99 each. That's right, $99 gets you every release from the league of your choice from your favorite handicapper, including 5% best bets for 30 days. No coupon code is required, and 30-day sports passes will go back to regular price Sunday at midnight. So lock in as many sports and handicappers for only $99 before time runs out.
Powered, of course, by WagerTalk.com. On this Friday, we are excited mostly because tournament time in college hoops and a lot of great matchups, a lot of top 25 matchups, not some of these 25-point, 26-point debacles here where one team is favored by a million. A little closer matchups here coming up over the weekend, and we're excited here to break a couple of these games down for you today, and we're going to do it with three guys that are red hot in college hoops. Let's bring them in here to Friday Crew. We got Steve Merrill in the house. We've got Tony Mejia ready to rock and roll, as is Mr. Marquette himself, Tony Finn, in the house here. Merrill, good to see you again. You were on the show yesterday. It's funny, we were just talking about that Marquette game last night at Ole Miss. Everyone seemed to agree with Ole Miss last night, which should have been the first indicator that we should have all went with Marquette. How was your evening, man? And what do you got locked and loaded up at Wager Talk today?
Yeah, we missed Ole Miss, which was the free play at WagerTalk.com. But the good news is I did cash my best bet on Wyoming, a nice dog in overtime, so we didn't have to take a bad beat there. And now 4-1, 80% on the college basketball season. Keep in mind, I started 25-7, 78% the first 2 months last year. So at 80%, we're on a pace to be even better than that right now. It's a great time to get my best bets at WagerTalk.com. And I've got two NBA best bets tonight, 23-11 combined NBA college hoops this year. So you might want to take a look. And if you want to get a discount, $99 for a month of any sport, $198 for 2 months. For two sports for a month. Or I'm doing it a dollar better, $199 for all four sports for the next month with Merrill $199, MERRIL. 2 R's, 1 L, Joe Raineri. Merrill $199 gets it done, a full month for $199.
Love it, man. Get it done here, guys. No better. Visit Steve at WagerTalk.com. Visit this guy, too. Tony Mejia working harder than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Man, you got sports. Woo! You got more sports than you know what to do with here, Mejia. Not to mention the great articles continuing to be written by you for our friends at the Gold Sheet, man. What do you got locked and loaded here for this weekend?
Appreciate that, Joe. Well, we have a 5% play in college football tonight in Memphis versus Houston. 5-0 run there. I think 8-1 extended. So we'll look to continue a solid run there. And yeah, a bunch of college basketball. We got an afternoon game in. I may mention it because we've got it right before the show. The St. Bonaventure game will start, so may give our viewers a treat there. Also got a best bet later in the show on Georgia Tech. And the games we'll talk about. Last night was okay. Did hit a 4% play with Wyoming. And a lot of dicey games there. Nevada, San Francisco was a pretty good one down the stretch. So I watched a lot of college hoops, streamed a bunch yesterday, and did well in the NFL game and in the college football game. Hit the side and total in Louisville Duke. So congrats to Louisville to being bowl eligible. And yeah, we'll move on to Friday and the weekend.
Right, you mean what? Nobody had Duke last night? Oh, that's terrible.
I'm sure there were people there.
Wasn't this one? Talk to me here, Tony Finn. Another good evening for you on the hard court. NBA continuing to crush it as well as college basketball. What do you got locked and loaded tonight for us?
Last night I split. I lost. I did win my college, and I had Marquette. That's what you guys were talking about. So I was surprised, but. Tonight this is what I have tonight. I have not loaded them yet because I've been pretty careful, guys, about the NBA. Last year it's not like last year, should I say, but I had a lot of problems with getting my lineups correct or getting the correct information. So I've been pretty careful this year. I think it'll change a little bit and get out earlier, but right now I have two plays that are going to go up, one college, one NBA. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this weekend. It's going to be a good night in basketball, too. I agree.
I thought you were going to say I had a hard time remembering my name last year, but that's all right. You've gotten the meds right. We're good. The right amount of Thorazine works wonders. All right, guys, let's do it. Let's start one of these games here tonight. We'll head out west. How about we take the Shockers? Best mascot in the world. Wichita State taking on Arizona. 7.5 is an opening number here. 136.5. I saw that pushed up a little bit as well. So what do you want to do? Arizona can score in bunches here. Steve, what do you think we're going to see? Can Wichita State man up against Arizona in your opinion?
Well, obviously, it's a step up in class for both teams after a 3-0 start. Keep in mind, Arizona's got an assistant from Gonzaga, Tommy Lloyd, this first year there. So it's a huge step up for them after Northern Arizona and North Dakota State. They've been a double-digit favorite in all 3 games. Wichita State was actually only an 8-point favorite against Jacksonville State in that narrow 60-57 opening win back on November 9th. So don't read too much into that. Jacksonville State actually is a legitimate opponent there. They've had it pretty easy the last couple games. But I do think Arizona the better team overall in this one, and that's why they are favored here. And that's why this line is actually gone up a couple points today. It's a neutral site, Las Vegas. Tony Finn can trickle all over to this game in T-Mobile Arena later tonight if he chooses. And, this is a situation where I'd rather have the better team in Arizona. New coach is always a little suspect when they're hitting the road for the first time. But I'm a little worried about Wichita State's shooting. They're shooting just 39% on the season. They have faced some decent defensive opponents, but Arizona's shooting over 50%, 94 points a game versus 63. I think that offensive edge will be the difference here for Arizona.
Yeah, got a lot of guys averaging double figures here. Tony Mejia, it's kind of hard not to look at this Arizona team. They're getting turnovers, they're converting. The better team, but do you trust them to be able to cover by the spread here?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. They've played Northern Arizona and Rio Grande Valley State. So we'll see, because this Arizona team is definitely unique. Mostly either European-based or African-based in terms of the personnel. It's like the United Nations out there in terms of their top 6, 1 American and 1 from every other country. And it's a really talented bunch. Kirk Risa from Estonia is a pro prospect. He's the point guard now. Benedict Maturin from France. He's a Montreal kid, can do it all. They got 2 7-footers. So I'm curious to see how it all comes together, considering it's a brand new head coach and a system reboot as far as Arizona is concerned. For Wichita State, Etienne, the reigning co-American Athletic Conference Player of the Year, sat out the other night with an illness, but he'll be back tonight to run the point for the Shockers. And I think it's one of those games that could be up for grabs down the stretch. So my lean is Wichita State. Certainly I share Steve's concerns in terms of shooting the ball, because they will see a lot of size here that they haven't grown accustomed to just yet. But they are more battle tested, and I think probably have better chemistry than Arizona this early in the season, especially under a new regime. So from that standpoint, I think I'd rather take the points.
So somebody liked them early, bet them big there, Tony Finn. So 7.5 up to 9, 9.5 in some spots. So there is some Arizona love in the marketplace. What do you think?
There's a lot of love for Arizona in this town. This T-Mobile now, or many of the venues here in Vegas, is kind of Arizona's second home. They travel well. It'll be full of Arizona faithful, and this is a unique team, as Tony said. It really is. I mean, when your guards are 6'6", 6'7", and getting 25% of their points in transition, and they're not even the 2 guys, the top scorers in transition. The top scorer in the transition is their 6'11" big, Udeze. It's a very unusual team, and I don't pay a whole lot of attention, guys, to strength of schedule after 2 or 3 games. I mean, you heard. I remember I read something yesterday about Ole Miss, how they were going to school Marquette. They were going to show them their class and their strength of schedule, yada yada yada. Right. So that said, this is going to be it's a tough spot for Wichita State, simply because they're smaller. And I love what their coach said, though. I'll link to this. He said, "Listen, I never understood how big guys could outrun little guys. So we'll get back on defense. We're smaller." That's what he said. Yeah, like it. No?
Did you?
Brown,
Okay.
Mr.
Well,
Coach Brown.
We're back to Tony not remembering his name. That's all right though. We're gonna move on
Well,
here.
it's
Let's
Coach
head to.
Brown.
I don't want to hear Coach Brown. We're gonna move on to maybe you, Coach Calipari. Can you remember that? How about Kentucky taking on Ohio? The Bobcats. Gotta love it. The MAC
I'm not sure where this came from, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. Lower his mic. Good God. 147.5 is a total for this one. And it's always hard. Listen, Ohio, we know they're going to go up-tempo. They've got some guys that have played with each other for a little while, which is interesting, too, because we know Kentucky, every year it's turn and burn, Tony Mejia. It usually helps teams like Ohio, familiarity-wise, to play teams like Kentucky early on. Do you give them a shot here to pull the upset or at least keep it within a dozen?
Yeah, they definitely have a shot to compete. They've made 12 three-pointers per game and wins over Belmont, Cleveland State, and Robert Morris. Outside of Robert Morris, the top two are pretty decent mid-majors. Cleveland State made the tourney last year. And the one thing with the Bobcats, though, they lost their point guard, Jason Preston, who was one of the top pick-and-roll players in all of college basketball last season. He got drafted by the Clippers, has not made his debut due to injury, but he took that team to the tournament last year and was one of the better guards, mid-major or anything else in the country. So that's a huge loss. You definitely would want him in Lexington. And I think it's funny because it's the return of the Bobcats. 27 years ago, they played at Kentucky and narrowly won. That was the Shaq of the MAC Ohio Bobcats, Gary Trent Sr. And it just shows you how old we are, where his kid is now playing for the Raptors. But the head coach of the Bobcats, Jeff Bowles, was in that starting lineup, committed 6 turnovers in that game, and actually was commenting that the best thing that Ohio has going for them is that they don't have any players of his caliber in that starting lineup. So maybe you give them a chance. From the Kentucky standpoint, it's a brand new team. Severe Wheeler, the Georgia transfer, is running point. Ty Washington, probably the only one and done on the roster, is getting his feet wet there. And we've got a team that started slowly against Duke, didn't really look all that good in early scrimmages, but over the last 2 games has posted blowouts. I think they're coming together nicely. They're certainly very talented. Oscar Tshiebwe, the West Virginia transfer, one of the better big men in the country as far as being productive, blocking shots, and getting rebounds and putbacks. So I think ultimately Kentucky will pull away and win this game, but I'm not sure about covering the spread, so I'm going to stay away from it.
Yeah, Oscar's certainly going to get some boards, but they got some height on this team in Ohio, too, so they'll be able to bang it out in the post here, Tony Finn. What do you think? Too big a number for such a young Kentucky team this early on?
Yeah, Coach, listen, I never play Coach Rupp this early in the season. It takes a while for them to get his players all together and on the same page. I fade Calipari primarily early in the season because of that simple reason. Kentucky is their best in February, in March. And this is an Ohio team that returns a lot of good players from last year's team that upset Virginia in the first round of the tournament. So, absolutely. If I'm in this room, and I'm not in this room yet, but I might give Rupp a call and see what he's got to say. But I would be on the Bobcats plus points here.
Taking the points here. What do you think, Merrill? Listen, it was impressive win against Belmont. They can obviously knock them down. Do you trust Kentucky enough this early on to lay 12 here?
I do. I like Kentucky in this game, and there's a few reasons. First of all, I think Ohio is a little overrated after winning 2 games as a 13 seed last year. They knocked off both Buffalo and the number 4 seed Virginia in the NCAA tournament, as Tony mentioned. I think we're going to get some value playing against them. They don't play slow. One thing I forgot to mention, by the way, in that Wichita-Arizona game, what's keeping me off that game, even though I lean towards Arizona, is that Wichita could maybe slow it down. Arizona likes to play faster, so I'm always reluctant to go against a slow-down dog. If that was the case here with Ohio, if they were a slow-down half-court team, I'd be very concerned that they could disrupt a young Kentucky team. But they actually play at a slightly faster tempo so far this year than Kentucky, and they're both in the upper third pace-wise. So when you have 2 teams that are going to play full court, I like the more athletic, the more talented team. That's definitely Kentucky. And I don't want to read too much into common opponents. They both played Robert Morris in the past week. Ohio beat them by 14 as a 13.5-point favorite. Kentucky beat them by 40 as a 23-point favorite. So, once again, pretty common opponent there. And the stats are pretty telling. Ohio got outshot. They shot 46 and allowed 49 to Robert Morris. Kentucky allowed just 37.5 in that game and shot 57%. So I think that tells you the class difference here. Also, Ohio does live and die by the three. They're taking 31 attempts a game. They're hitting 38%. That's nice. They're averaging 81 points a game. If they hit 38% tonight, they'll probably cover. But Kentucky's allowing just 26% from beyond the arc this year in the first 3 games. So I think it's a good matchup for Kentucky. They only have Albany on deck, so not much of a look ahead. And I think they get it done tonight and win by more than 12.
All right, there we go. Liking Kentucky to get it done here tonight. We do have one more matchup here we're going to take a look at with, a pretty exciting team, if you ask me. This Memphis squad taking on Western Kentucky. 15 as an opening number, total of 146. And, Tony Finn, I don't know if you had a chance to see the St. Louis game against Memphis, but a lot of energy, a lot of flying up and down the court. Listen, big expectations for this Memphis squad here. They are the better team. They should win this game by plenty, but those 24 turnovers kind of scared me in that game as well. What do you think we're going to see tonight?
I think you spit it out pretty well there. I had St. Louis in that game, and I watched the game. I watched some tape of the game after it was over, and I was fairly impressed with Memphis. More impressed than I thought it would be this early on. Now we know Memphis is going to have they're going to have some talented players. They're going to have some blue chips, some 5 stars, 4 stars, 5 star players. But Western Kentucky is always difficult, always tough. In this situation, I'm going to step aside, and I will say this: I'm not going to be on side in this. However, Western Kentucky, Memphis, and what I saw from Memphis in that first game, or that game against St. Louis, is and the way they were scored against St. Louis, which is a good defensive team, technically sound, good defensive team. I like the over. I think it's 146. Is that what the number is?
Yep.
For this? Over 146. So yeah,
Liking it over 146.
Yep.
I can just Merrill, can't you see Tony Finn like trying to rewind the VHS tape as he's watching tape of St. Louis Memphis after the game, going, "Damn these things! I don't understand." What do you think though? For the tape that you saw of this Memphis squad, what do you think you're going to get here tonight from?
I picture him taking the pencil with the cassette tape, and then trying to get the audio cassette tape going back.
It's wrong. It's all wrong. I have a microphone. I have this little microphone, and I just take the tape and I just start, running underneath my. Yeah.
I mean, half our viewers are like under 30 probably. They have no reference to a cassette tape, let alone a CD or even a disc. So that was totally lost.
8-track. I had it on 8-track. I had the damn thing on 8-track.
Even I'm too young to remember the 8-track. But Western Kentucky 0-3 against the spread, 1-2 straight up. So that's not exactly like the type of team you want to be running the bank early in the season. And the reason's because they can't shoot the ball. And we talked about that earlier with Wichita State shooting only 39%. Western Kentucky is shooting 42%, but just 27% from three-point range. Some of that could be random variance. They have played some good three-point defensive teams that allowed just 29 on the season, so maybe there is some upside. But Memphis shooting 45% from three-point range. Now, I do believe a lot of that is random variance early in the season, so that would maybe get me leaning towards Western, but I need to see something on the court first. 14.5, 15 is a big number. I'm not using this game tonight, but we'll play that random variance angle, maybe take a little bit of a flyer with Western Kentucky if you are looking to play it.
Yeah, you take a look at that Western Kentucky schedule there, Tony. They've played they played a Big Ten team in Minnesota, right? They played South Carolina. It was a matter of runs in the South Carolina game. They did come back and tie that game early in the second, and then after that, talent just took out. So they won't be intimidated at this particular point against this Memphis squad. What do you think we're going to get?
Yeah, I just don't know how good they are because the teams you mentioned, South Carolina, somewhat rebuilding, and Minnesota definitely rebuilding, based on what they lost from Richard Pitino, now coaching elsewhere in New Mexico, I believe. And look, this is a Memphis team that's got 2 lottery picks leading the way, but they're both kids. Amani Bates, the top recruit in the country this past year, and Jalen Duren, a 6'11" center. Both have looked really good so far. Both are in the mid-60s in terms of free throw shooting. So can they get in their own head when we're covering a 14.5, 15-point spread? Potentially, and that's the only thing that gives me pause as far as pressing the button on Penny Hardaway's Tigers, because this Western Kentucky team, like I said, not that good from a talent standpoint compared to what we've seen in recent years. Charles Bassey had a huge game last night for the Philadelphia 76ers, 3 blocks, and was really key in their upset of Denver. He's been patrolling the paint for Western Kentucky for the last 2-3 seasons. Tavion Hollingsworth is gone too. They added Jairus Hamilton, who played at Maryland last season. He's the go-to guy, really not very efficient. Luke Frampton, who played at Davidson. Jalen Butts, who played at DePaul, both in Rick Stansbury's starting lineup as well. So it's really a team that is kind of being pieced together and looks vulnerable to me as they enter FedEx Forum. I think Memphis should have a really good crowd in store for this one. My lean is laying the points, but again, a little trepidation with the free throw shooting for the Tigers in covering such a large number.
All right, good stuff there. There you got it, guys. 3 games on the card here, obviously. It's a decent card here tonight. It's the beginning of a lot of these tournaments around the country. Huge weekend in college basketball as well, but it is time to go around the horn here and see, with all the games here on the card, is there a game that these guys have circled maybe like a little bit more than the others? And Merrill, coming to you first here, my friend. Which one of these games do you have circled? Do you like a little bit more?
You're going to take a look at a game I think can be a steamroller tonight in college basketball. I'll give that to you free here on the show. But I do have 2 NBA best bets. Those are my 2 strongest plays for Friday night at WagerTalk.com. Don't forget 23-11 combined college and pro basketball. We started hot last year with that 25-7 college hoop start. 23-11 NBA and college hoop start already this season. Get my 2 NBA best bets tonight, or even better, get a month of NBA for $99, a month of college for $99. Why not get football for $1 more? Get all 4 sports for $199. With Merrill, $199. 2 R's, 1 L, Merril. Merrill, $199. Gets you a full 30 days, all sports. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. In college hoops tonight, a game that was just a bit outside for making the cut. I'm going to look at it here at 7 Eastern. Kentucky, -12. Game 8-3-8 on the schedule. Kentucky Wildcats, minus the 12 points. Both Ohio and Kentucky off to good starts. Ohio actually 3-0 straight up in ATS. Kentucky just 2-1 straight up. They had that loss against Duke, don't forget, back on that first Tuesday. No shame there. But I think Kentucky is a much better team. And I actually think we get a discounted line because Ohio is off to the 3-0 start. Also because Ohio pulled 2 big upsets in the tournament last year as a 13 seed, knocking out Buffalo and Virginia. But Kentucky's the better team. In that Robert Morris game recently over the past week when they both played the same opponent, Kentucky wins by 40. They outshoot them 57-37%. Ohio wins by just 14. They get outshot 46-49%. That's the difference between these teams. They both play up-tempo. Kentucky's got better athletes to do so. And Ohio on the season takes 31 threes a game, hitting 38% of them. Can't be much better than that. Kentucky's allowing just 26% from beyond the arc. So it's a good matchup, and we get some line value with the Kentucky Wildcats -12. And don't forget, if you want those NBA best bets tonight, a full month, all sports, $199. Merrill, $199, WagerTalk.com.
All right, good stuff there. Talk to me here, Tony Mejia. A lot to choose from here on the card tonight. Which one of these did you circle for us?
Well, I circled Georgia Tech, but right now I'm looking down on my phone just to make sure Osuna Sunier of the St. Bonaventure Bonnies is playing today. I believe he is.
Yes.
So bonus for our viewers and our viewers only. In 15 minutes, St. Bonaventure and Clemson, Charleston Classic. You're going to ride the under. That's a client play. It's available now at 124. I think it's a race to 60. And 2 teams that protect the paint real well and go about at the pace that paint dries at. Georgia Tech, I think, is an underplay as well. And the market seems to agree with me because the total was up around 139 when I wrote the gold sheet write-up last night. It's now at 136. And these are 2 teams that are rebuilding on the run. Nobody lost more talent than Georgia last year. Severe Wheeler obviously transferred to Kentucky to run point there. Tom Crean, I guess, didn't make many friends on his team last year because everybody bolted, and the one guy that didn't was P.J. Horn, and he ended up blowing out his knee in practice. So entirely new Georgia team. Georgia Tech obviously lost Jose Alvarado, their longtime point guard. He's with the Hornets now. Moses Wright, the ACC Player of the Year, is also in the G League playing for the Clippers, franchise there. And it's a rebuilding job with 2 of the guys that they had last year, in DeVoe and the other kid, Bubba Parham, who is now out as well. Jordan Usher's there as well for Georgia Tech. But essentially they're rebuilding as well. You know that Pastner likes to go slow. This is a big game for recruiting in state, and it'll be played at Georgia. So I think you'll get a low-scoring game here, right under 136 points. Obviously, a little of the value's gone because it was available at 139 last night, but I still think it'll be a race to 65 or so.
All right, let's get it done there. Love that play, too. That's going off, by the way, that St. Bonnie's game here in just about 10. We got time if you guys are joining us live here to get in on that under. Talk to me, Tony, Finn, a lot of different ways to go here tonight. What game did you have circled for us here?
I'm on the Georgia Tech game as Tony Mejia. I'm on the side, however, and for many of the reasons that Tony mentioned. First off, they did lose 6 of the 7 top scorers from last year. Then they lost the 7th to the knee injury. So that said, Tom Crean doing what he does best, and that's like you said, Joe,
right?
Upsetting people. I guess so. I don't know. But I never listen when he was coaching in the Big Ten with the Indiana. I didn't like his defense then. I thought his defense DNA was lack of defense, to be honest with you. But he's got a lot of super seniors that he's recruited to the portal, and they haven't had much time together. Both these teams are 2-1. But here it is. When Crean was in Indiana, he had similar issues that he's having here. And even if he brought back everyone he lost last year, I still might have a problem backing him here. Listen, Josh Pastner has never beaten Georgia. 5 in a row. Georgia has beaten Tech. There's time and space is tonight. Couldn't be more perfect. Pastner beats Georgia. Everyone's happy. The world, the earth is back on its axis and revolving. Georgia Tech -4 is what I like here.
Georgia Tech minus. I will say that I don't know why, but Georgia got a lot of early love in the marketplace this morning. I saw a lot of 5s to open, and boy, oh boy, that came down 4, 3.5, and 4 isn't available. So that game should be a little interesting there. The Battle of Georgia coming up. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I was going to do in honor of Steve Merrill and the ass whooping that William and Mary took by Norfolk State. I was going to back Norfolk State on the show, all right? But I decided not to throw shade at him and his William and Mary. So instead, am I the only one that thinks Maryland sucks? You want to give me double digits against a team that is lights out from 3, which Maryland will have no answer for? I'll take the points. Give me Hofstra here. A real good chance to even pull off the upset. Maryland is terrible, and if Hofstra gets it going from the outside, just ask Robert and the game against Houston that they almost snuck away with there. So I'll take Hofstra tonight plus the points. No offense, Merrill. Not that I'm saying William and Mary sucks, but, well, they suck. I mean, let's be reasonable.
Just a couple things. First of all, you still did Merrill Land, which is pretty close, so I appreciate that. By the way, it's 2 hours and 1L. Merrill 199 gets it done. But I was not involved in that Norfolk State game. The Tribe was actually a 4-point dog. Yeah, they're struggling. I went and watched them play last week. They cannot shoot. And like I said with these other teams tonight, you got to be very careful with teams that cannot shoot early in the season. So you're spot on about that.
That was a whooping of, but that's all right. It's a long season here, guys. Just to recap, we got our, don't forget, just so happens our friends from the Gold Sheet have their play of the day up right now, and they're looking at Georgia Tech and Georgia under the number as well in that one. Georgia Tech, that is our Gold Sheet play of the day. And don't forget, guys, the full write-ups from these games of the day for the Gold Sheet here on the show can be found on our Twitter page. Just make sure you're following at WagerTalk and get the full write-ups there. And if you haven't done so already, head over to the Gold Sheet, guys. Great information. Really is a great handicapping tool. The data, the write-ups, really good stuff. Knowledge is power, and plenty of it over at the Gold Sheet. So there you got it here, guys. Wrapping it up here. We got some best bets across the board with Steve Merrill. Says lay it with Kentucky. Mejia and the Gold Sheet are in agreement there. Georgia Tech and Georgia under 136. Tony Finn likes Tech And I'm taking Hofstra and the 11.5 to get it done against a terrible Maryland team here. They get it going from 3. You might want to sprinkle a little something on the money line in that one as well. There you got it. Merrill told you 327 times. Merrill 199. Make sure you visit them over there. In the meantime, Mahia and Tony Finn. Yeah, you'll see them around. Plenty to go here today. College football, of course, and the NBA tip-off show coming your way a little bit later here today. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. You'll get notified every time we go live with one of these shows. And on behalf of Steve Merrill, Tony Mejia, and Tony Finn, guys, best of luck with your plays tonight and the weekend. Make sure you come back and join us on Monday. Little holiday week. We do it all over again. Good luck, guys. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Sign up for the free Wager Talk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text Wager Talk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.